Hello, everybody, and welcome to the CantinaMX podcast. This is Albert Campa. We are episode 213, and I'm joined here with Joel, going to talk over the latest LigaMX happenings. We're in the midst of a doble jornada, so that means we've had a bunch of games happening midweek that we will go over, and then some more games happening over the weekend, starting actually tonight. So, how's it going, Joel?
I'm doing good, Chiquis. Been enjoying some of these doble jornada games. Have given us plenty to talk about. Some quite interesting results, and the league is beginning to shape up.
Yeah, it's pretty entertaining the past few days. Actually, the last two, as a Pumas fan, the last two fechas were sort of disappointing. The cat was outside screeching, and
I see that cat meme.
the
It's the one that's on the table.
yeah, that cat meme is hilarious. I'm trying to think of some good custom ones so I can make some custom cat memes with that one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you and me both, Chiquis. My goats also have 2 defeats in a row, but I think we should start at the top. And right now, that is the White Roosters. Querétaro is in first place with 16 points.
Yeah, they had a fortunate um, match this past Tuesday, so that boosted them, that maintained them. I believe
Fortunate what?
they had a fortunate matchup on Tuesday against the
Unfortunate, you said?
no, a very fortunate.
In what sense, though, Chiquis?
They met the dangerous
Oh, Veracruz.
tiburones rojos.
That they did, but Chiquis, on the last Saturday, they put the hurt on Leon. They they beat them 4-0, and that was, you know,
That's
it
surprise.
it it showed that they mean business. So
Actually, that was the opposite, man.
between that game, beating Leon, and then beating Veracruz, because they beat Veracruz 5-0. And that's 9 goals in 2 games. Easier said than done. But I do think that Querétaro, really good coach in Vucetich, King Midas. And I do think they're going to see them as dark horse for the Liguilla. I think they're going to go into Liguilla and they have the potential to cause some surprises or heartbreak.
I gotta make a correction there on you though.
What happened?
Leon actually beat Querétaro 4-0.
Oh, wait,
Leon,
it's the other way around.
yeah, Leon actually got
What?
that win.
I'm just,
Yeah, so
oh, that's right. Never mind.
yeah, that was a tough matchup for
Goddamn.
him. That was a tough matchup for him, but they still actually, because of I'm trying to
I
bring up
think
my
I'm
graphic.
dyslexic. Because
Yeah, they
Leon did beat Querétaro. Oh, man.
yeah 4-0. So that
Oh,
was a
so se desquitaron con Veracruz. Okay, Veracruz paid. They
yeah
paid the price.
they bullied on him, and they actually bullied on him so
Yeah,
hard that pobrecito Ojitos got the sack.
he did. Well, Ojitos quit.
Or
He
didn't get the
quit.
sack. He quit,
Yeah,
resigned.
he quit. He's like, I tried my best, and it wasn't good enough. And I'm taking my sons with me, because his two assistant coaches were his two sons, and I guess it was like, I'm gonna ruin their career before it even starts. Veracruz is a 33 game winless streak,
Yeah, it's been a while.
which is a record for LigaMX. Most games without a win. And I think Veracruz just appointed a coach. Uh, I forgot his name. I don't think it matters.
Yeah,
but Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. Camille was looking at the result wrong. Um,
No, that's okay. That's
ouch.
the dyslexia and taking effect.
It it was, man. I was like, damn, they're on a roll. But you're right, they lost and they were able to bounce back. But to their credit, they have beaten Toluca and they have beaten Cruz Azul. So I, I still, I'm not changing my stance on the Gallos Blancos. I still think they could make Liguilla and possibly cause a surprise. And what is probably is gonna make me question myself was because I'm kind of giving them more credit than Santos. As I said, Santos wasn't, uh, before the season started. I said they're not as strong as we've seen you know, the Comarca be. But and they're in they're in second place. Santos is also tied with Querétaro in points, 16, and they are in second place. Uh, their last two games was a victory over Monterrey, and then they took a two-goal tie against León. So I think that's the one team I said if they make Liguilla, they'll get eliminated right quick.
Santos.
Yeah, man, but I might have to eat crow there, you know. If a Furch on fire or just you know playing good, he could make a big difference. And we mentioned it before. He wants to put on the other green shirt, the selección. So I do think he's gonna be just doing 110% and try to get that cap. But
Yeah,
but Chiquis, as Pumas and Chivas fans, we have to start worrying because I mean these two teams, if they take Liguilla spot, we got the stronger sides, and that leaves even less possibilities for our beloved teams to go to the big dance.
yeah. That's I mean, I'm not surprised with how Pumas is doing. I was listening to Picante and they were making fun of them. They just don't have the personnel to do well. But like going to your previous points on these past two results for Querétaro and Santos, I think that both of those teams have sort of been fortunate in their opponents in the early part of the season. And Santos has had some impressive performances, but not good results. Like they've missed a bunch of opportunities to just blow out teams. I think Necaxa being one of the recent ones. But their recent opponents
Yes, but
haven't
I
been
mean,
as
at,
hard.
at the end of the day, they're getting the points, Cheeky.
Yeah, I mean
They're
they're getting the sufficient amount of points, but I think both Querétaro and Santos are sort of outdoing themselves a little bit as they
yeah,
face more tougher opponents. I think they're going to end up getting going down a little bit on the table.
true, true. But I mean, they are in good position. If you want to qualify, so they might not stay top of the table, but they right now they got a good between 6 and 8 point cushion from the teams that want to get in, and so that's about 3 games where they could slip up and still recover. So I mean, you want that. I would rather have that cushion than being in the other position where you're swimming up, upstream, where you're going uphill, man. You're gonna do the heavy lifting. So, oh yeah, I agree with you. They might not. It's not very likely that they'll stay uh, first and second as the season progresses, but I definitely see them top 8. So
Yeah.
moving down to number 3, we have the only undefeated. the only undefeated team. They have yet to lose, which is pretty impressive. 7 games in, given their calendar and injuries and lots of players, and that is of course America. They have 15 points, and just what was it yesterday? They released uh, they released Jeremy
Jeremy.
Menezes.
Yeah,
He was supposed to be their Gignac. It just didn't pan out. Uh, so he's he's back in France now, enjoying his. I think he got close to $1 million, a quarter of a million, I think I heard
yeah, he's getting
for
a lot of hate too.
the receipt. Well, yeah. I always thought it was a bad transfer, and I think they were just going for the name, and they were just trying to
Just
get
a
that
Frenchman.
publicity.
Yeah, just like that guy Larson.
What happened?
Just like that guy Larson. They're just going for the name and the
Oh,
nationality. But one thing, I mean, a lot of people were hating on him and stuff, but there was a somebody mentioned some interesting stats on him though, compared to
yeah,
all the goal scorers on America. He was like
yeah,
he was the one that scored. I think it was like oh man, I gotta find it. I think Orbelin,
yeah,
not Orbelin, or Oribe
yes,
was scoring goals every 433 minutes. Like they did an average of all the strikers. And Jeremy what's his name? Menace
yeah,
scored like every 40 minutes or something like that. Like he was the best, uh, the most guy that scored most often. He didn't play too many minutes though, but
and
he
he
did
he
take
spent a
advantage.
lot of he did spend a lot of time injured, and I think going by Piojo, he I think there was like Piojo made it seem that Menes did not want to be there, and he said he didn't want to you know put a player in the squad that his heart wasn't in it, that it wasn't fair for the other guys. Uh, so the Tigres last 2 games, Tigres, I mean America's last 2 games, both draws. They drew at Volcan against Tigres Unal, and then they drew at home against Pachuca. Two 1-1 draws, and we were talking about their calendar. So they had played they had played on Tuesday on August 20th against Tigres. That's when they lost in penalties. They actually scored all 4 goals, and this was for the League's Cup semifinal. So it's pretty tough too. They had to travel, and then from there they traveled to Monterrey. So yeah, pretty hectic for America, but they will be rewarded today. And so we're talking about just how tough it's been for them. Just the amount of games they played in 7 days is going to be from the 20th to the 27th. This is going to be their fourth game.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's why we're giving credit to Aguilas here, man. They managed to remain undefeated,
and
and so
they're sort of in shambles, or not really in shambles, but their lineup isn't ideal. What
yeah,
Piojo
yeah,
wants and
and
everything.
they got quite a few injuries. Uh, so I don't know, Chiquis. Uh, they go up against Atlas, and that game is today, and today being Friday.
In Jalisco, so that should be a.
Wait, where's the 30th, man? I was talking about from the uh, from the 20th to the 27th.
Oh,
So they played yeah, 3 games in 7 days. I try to say four. Correction,
yeah,
correction.
three
They
games and
played,
seven. That's
but
still
that's
a lot.
that's still a lot of games. That's still a lot of games. Um, I need my coffee, man, or my beer. My brain's not functioning proper. Ah, goddamn. So Atlas, man, they're gonna fight Atlas. What do you see happening here, man? Can Atlas take advantage and
Let me
you
check.
know
Uh, my immediate
beat
reaction
or
is
take points from America or
no, I don't.
Is this gonna be the team that America whoops just to say, hey, you know,
My immediate reaction is they're gonna not they're gonna lose to America, but they did manage a tie last on Tuesday against Tigres at home.
yeah,
Previously,
yeah,
they've done pretty bad um, throughout the first part of the season. So I mean, anything
no,
could
no,
happen.
they were kind of top, like the first what 3, 4
Well, the
matches.
first two games,
Got-
the first two games they won, and then the third game they lost. The
okay, well we'll get to Atlas, but I think America
I think they'll be able to pull it
for
off.
that they face Pumas. So if you as a Pumas fan, you would have to cheer for Atlas, man,
Oh yeah,
to take some points, either tie or a win. That way, when you guys play America, you have a bit of an advantage there.
uh, a little update from the chat, YouTube chat.
Yes.
Mr. Super Mendigo says that you've changed.
Nah.
You've converted to Americanista. You haven't said
Oh,
any
oh,
negative. You haven't said any negative words when we're talking about America. I think that's Bopero. I think that's Bop.
nah. No,
But
like
um,
I don't have right now. I don't have. I want to, but I can't.
yeah,
I can't hate on them right now.
a typical Chavista
Uh,
would be like all upset talking about the America status. But I applaud your restraint. Yeah, so it might be tough for them. Uh, but they're undefeated. I think they'll continue, and they could very easily uh, take this win in the Jalisco. And yeah, this game against Pumas is sort of like the one that never goes our way. We've had success against Chivas, even in Guadalajara, but
just recently, Tikis, don't get tested.
yeah, just recently. But this America, even like recently and in the past, well, maybe in the far past, John would know more than me, but it's been tough uh, to even get. I mean, ties. I think we've Pumas has gotten ties, but has never been able to get over the hump and get
All right,
a win.
we're gonna have to wait. Chiquis Pumas is further down the list.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so yeah, America's on third. Tigres is in fourth, and Tigres last 2 games, uh, just like America, both draws. 1-1, 1-1 against Aguilas, and then they almost lost to Atlas. It was one of those goals that they scored like in the extra time. I think they were given 5 minutes. I was actually watching that game, Chiquis, and they they pulled a draw, and it would have been a huge win for Atlas. But they're gonna try to build on that, and they were getting clowned because Cancha, the newspaper from Guadalajara, they had like a headline talking about something like tomando vuelo, something like that, and you know, almost saying like that they're going on full throttle or something.
Who the
So oh yeah, yeah, but let's not get distracted. So they're gonna face Leon, so that could very well be like match of the week.
well,
So you know,
you're saying nice things about
Tigres Leon,
yeah,
huh?
that's impressive. You're saying pretty nice things about opposing opposing teams. So Tigres León match of the week, eh?
Yeah, it could very well be, man. Both these
They've
teams
tied
doing good.
They've tied 2 times in a row. So maybe they can
They
break their streak.
yeah,
No, 3 times. They've
and
tied 1-1 3 times in a row. Tigres has.
and the big and the big matchup. Uh, goal the goleadores. Gignac on one side, JJ Mack on the other. So I think it's a fun. It should be a fun game, especially if you're not a fan of either of that team. That match is tomorrow.
Oh, another interesting stat on that that you mentioned goal scorers. There's a count status kicks. put a chart of contributing goal scorers, and like the goals by individuals versus the team goals. So Macias scores 40% of Leon's goals, and that tops pretty much.
Yeah, and
Or actually,
yeah, and
Pulido scores 40% as well, but their amount of
but
goals is for Chivas is a
yeah,
lot less.
but I think that they're in different. Hay niveles, chiquis.
Yeah, yeah,
Pulido does take a lot of penalty kicks. Uh, although JJ Mack has been as well. But um, man, lost my train of thought, man. Oh no, Macias, yes, Macias.
yeah.
So there's talk that they might sell him to Sevilla, and that I don't know, man. It seems like Grupo Pachuca almost doing it just to teach Chivas a lesson, man. They seem like the deal that they're working on is that they would buy half of his transfer, so he's valued at 15. They would buy half of the transfer and Sevilla or whatever Euro team, because they had mentioned this before, but with a German team. So and then the Euro team will buy the other half, and then they would keep the player, and but Grupo Pachuca, which they control both Pachuca and Leon,
Mhm.
they would keep a percentage, and so then if Macias got sold, they'll get their money back and then some.
Oh,
Yeah, but it's very risky in that if Macias gets injured or he just sucks for whatever reason, because there's always a lot of reasons you could get like a really bad injury, or you could just be homesick. We've seen a lot of ways in which talented players have gone abroad and then they send them right back. So if that were to happen, I do think Pachuca would not. So that's why it surprises me. Like, why are they so insistent on doing that? So they got a couple months, to do that. If I think what is it, next week, early next week, when the transfer is gonna close for Europe, I believe on the 2nd. So if there's any validity to these rumors, we will know soon enough. If not, Leon. But the other thing, they could poison the well, man. They could, they could poison the well so that Macias won't even want to return to Chivas. He's gonna be like, just send me abroad now. He has about 23 goals right now. Uh, I think between league and cup, 16 just in league. So he's one of the highest, or I think he is the highest scoring uh, Mexican 19-year-old
yeah. He doesn't want to mess with that
of all
because I think.
time. And it does. What happened?
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, no, that's not my thought. That's a stat way.
Yeah,
It's Macias has that amount of goals. So I mean, you could say he probably got an earlier start, or he's just hit his stride faster. But but they have him as at that age,
yeah,
because then you have like Hugo and Quadrimac, and then they both ended up scoring more goals later on.
yeah. I think a big part of why he's scoring is the cohesion he has with the team, and a little bit of. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh
I don't want
man.
to denigrate his skills, but a little bit of fortune on his goals. He does have good skills and with the ball and good touch. Um, but I think if he were to change the cohesion and switch teams and go back to Chivas, you never know what would happen if he would be able to mesh in with a team, and he might have a slump or something. So I think he needs to ride on the high that he's having at Leon and possibly jump to like a bigger like Europe would be ideal.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be the
And
next
now,
step.
man, and now I have to say nice things about Leon, because this probably wouldn't have happened had he stayed in Chivas. See, now I'm gonna sound like a Chiva hater. my
Mendigo's
my
gonna like that.
Chiva fan is gonna get revoked. No, I think no with the change in just because of all the changes of all of this madre that happened in Chivas, I think that would have hurt him, and him leaving was sad to admit the best thing possible for him because Matias was playing him. He did give him. He was like bringing him in, but then Mati left, and then Cardoso, some of these other coaches, and Higuera as well. They just didn't see him with the same lens, and now Chivas is paying the price, man. Oof, oof, too much, Chiquis. Moving on,
A
man.
tear, a tear.
Moving on. Sad flute. So Tigres in fourth, right?
Yeah,
And they have 12 points compared to America's 15 and Santos and Querétaro's 16. So also at 12 is the other Monterrey team, Monterrey, the Rayados. And they've been wishy-washy, man. It's more as expected because if I'm not mistaken, I think they have the most expensive squad,
oh yeah,
right now. Because I know Tigres, but Tigres hasn't been spending while Monterrey, like the money they paid for Layun and now this guy Jensen or Johnson. So, but so they lost their last week Friday. Uh, last Friday they lost to Santos in La Comarca, and then yesterday they bounced back and they beat your Pumas 2-0.
you know,
And so well wait, and this Sunday they have Juarez. So I think yeah I see another win for Monterrey. It is on the road, but I think they have what it takes. I think they're gonna start pushing for those top spots. Might even bump America down.
yeah, that Pumas game was sort of hard to watch. I did like. I mean, there was a lot of hope there. Pumas Pumas had
Wait,
some good shot
you had hope for Pumas to beat Monterrey after
during that
coming
game.
from a defeat to Monarca.
Yeah, well, okay, prior to the game, maybe.
And both and on the road.
Yeah, prior to the game, maybe not so much, but
Yeah.
during the game, Pumas
Oh,
wasn't doing too bad. Okay, so they had a few good opportunities where, and I gotta just hype up this goalkeeper, Barovero.
yeah.
That dude is, if he needs to be talked about a lot more because that guy stopped like two, those curling crosses or free kicks that come in, and Puma's guys got a good head on it, and that guy just like uh, his reflexes were on spot to just block a few shots from the
He was
Pumas
on
offense,
point.
which should have been goals, and that would have been I think there were two or three chances that Pumas had for pretty good goals that were clearly blocked by that goalkeeper. So Monterrey, I would say, is a little bit fortunate to not get scored on, or at least um, leave with a tie against Pumas at home. But yeah,
Okay.
that was a good win for Monterrey. Funes Mori actually had it could have been 3-0. He had an open net shot where like when you know how whenever you see people miss an open net shots, they always like blame the grass or something. He actually did blame the grass, but there was like a big old chunk of grass that it did actually make the ball like hop, and
Oh
he
man.
kicked it with his shin instead of the foot. So it was the grass's fault, but
That's like when you play those Sunday pub, you play in these Sunday rec league with the fields full of rocks and potholes.
yeah, yeah,
Oh
he
man.
he
So
was.
yeah, Monterrey fifth place. I'm sorry, Chiquis, you
No, I was just agreeing with you. He's too used to
oh
the nice fine
the nice pitch,
the top level
the
pitches.
billiard.
Yeah,
the billiard type flat surface.
yeah. Someone's gonna
All
get
right,
fired for not taking care of the grass.
or not fired. Uh, they got the result they wanted.
Yeah,
So yeah, Monterrey in fifth, and then in sixth with 11 points is Necaxa. Um, and well, last Sunday they beat Chivas in at the Akron. Just Chivas put up a fight, but Necaxa just they got the goals, man. They got them both in the first half. So a bit unfortunate for my goats, but big win for Necaxa. And then the Rayos, they hosted Toluca, and this was an important game, especially for Toluca, which we'll get into him shortly, because Bigoton, his team had not been doing so well, and his job was or is on the line. So for the Diablos Rojos to get that point in Aguascalientes is a good result for them. Uh, Necaxa, 4 out of 6, can't complain. They go up against Tijuana, and Tijuana just had a huge win recently. We'll get into that, but this game could also be a very good game, even though the clubs aren't like fancy. They're not fancy, but this could be one of those games. It could be like the Popeyes chicken sandwich. No one was expecting that to go viral.
yeah. Xolos is. I didn't have too much hope for Xolos, but they've sort of been impressing. But we'll get to them later. Yeah, that's Necaxa's next opponent. But something's weird going back to the game you were talking about with Toluca, and well, I guess
Yeah,
we'll get to Toluca maybe also later. But two
way
coaches.
later,
Toluca's between. Well, yeah, we'll get to them later. I won't distract. I was
later,
gonna make
later.
a diss on La
Uh,
Volpe.
yeah, La Volpe. Yeah, because then we won't have nothing to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah. So so yeah, below Necaxa, also with 11 points is León. So León, man, León should be where Querétaro or Santos is, just because they're the. But there is that stat that that says that well the stat is 60% of the time one of the teams that made the league final fails to qualify to the following liguilla. They'll end up suffering, and I think if we see like let's say Macias does leave, I wouldn't be surprised if Leon gets bumped off. So, but yeah, Leon, and now the correction. Uh, they 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 beat Querétaro, so they put the hurt on King Midas in their own stadium last Saturday 4-0, and then they tied Santos at home, and I guess the big news we already talked about it was with JJ Mack, and just he's been on a streak. He has 6 goals right now, and like when you look at LigaMX, a good striker he will score you about 6 goals. Uh, in a tourney. So in a tournament, out of that, what 17 games, he will score 6 goals, and if they could do that, they're a decent good. But this guy already has him 7 games in, and it looks like he could easily double that. And the top strikers end up with double digits. They'll score anywhere between 10 and like 14. You know, so yeah, so exciting to have Macias, and he just got called up to the under 22. We're not really gonna talk selección. We're saving that for later when Yon and the rest of the members join us, hopefully on Sunday or Monday. But I know there was some people were beginning to worry. Just most because of the media was making a big deal, talking about why is he getting called up, and that he had a U.S. passport, and just all this chismes. But no, he's one of the key players for the Olympics. Him and Linus, both of those guys, they're gonna be That's where they're gonna play key roles, and they've been grooming them for that. Big reason they were in the under 20. Um, so that's Leon,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
they face tomorrow. Huh? What happened?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I agree with you
Oh,
on the JJ
agree.
Mack. If he were to leave, I think they would go a bit downhill. But yeah, their next game against Tigres.
And it did hurt them already when they let him go to the under 20, and you could tell they suffered right there not having him. Uh, yeah, they face, as we mentioned earlier, Leon will be going up against Tigres. So yeah, that for us is should be a really good game.
I will
Uh,
say this though, their record or their opponents have been the tough ones, or sort of tough this early in the season, and then they're going to have a string of lesser opponents coming up. So I think they could be on the rise after this Tigres game,
yes,
uh, based on the opponents that they have coming up.
yeah. Okay, so then we're dropping off 8. So this is where the liguilla zone ends, right at 8th place, and that's the Cholos of Tijuana. And as we mentioned earlier, they had a huge win beating Cruz Azul. They beat them at home 3-2 with Cubo Torres scoring. He scored the surprise winning goal. Uh,
Yeah.
Cubo was Cubo at one point was JJ Mack.
Yeah,
he,
he was a
he was
hopeful.
he was the Macias of MLS, man. I don't know if you remember. He was, he, and you know what? I know we make fun of it, but it's still impressive because it's not easy to get some of these records. Uh, he was the highest scoring Mexican in MLS just until recently that Bella broke the record. He had like 30 something goals, I believe. But yeah, Kubo was at one point he had a high ceiling, and then he gave into partying and other stuff. So, but here he is, man. He's raising his hand. Hopefully, we see more from him. A ver qué. So, yeah, they had that win, and then they had lost to Toluca the previous Sunday, and that was Toluca's first win. That was the lifeline for La Volpe, which we'll get into later. So, yeah, Necaxa Tijuana will be tomorrow, and yeah, we mentioned it already. That could be a exciting match,
Yeah,
or
quick.
not. But I'm leaning for it will.
Yeah, I think it should be good. Those are going to be two, I think, evenly matched teams. I want to make a comment on the previous game they had with Cruz Azul. That was a pretty entertaining game. Cruz
Yeah,
Azul was down a man like almost the whole second half. Um, so that was sort of a bad thing for them. They still were able to sort of compete, but Cholos was definitely on the attack, and it just after the game, if you watched it, there was some real frustration because the goal came at the very last minutes, and that was just like a epic Cruz Azuleada towards the end of the game by Cruz Azul, and they were frustrated. They were fighting. There was like players pushing, and like one guy even slapped one of the Cholos players, and he started running to tell the ref and everything. It was pretty entertaining. You could see the frustration on the Cruz Azul players. So I think that was
and
a really important game or really bad game for them to lose, and just the way they did, that's going to hurt their
was
morale.
it Chiquis? Uh, I don't know if you correct me here if I'm mistaken, but was it the debut of Chaco Jimenez' son?
Oh, I didn't know that. As a player?
Yeah, his son was playing. I don't know because he's been with the team since since like the under 15, and he's Mexican. His nationality is Mexican, and that's where he wants to play. So I don't know if he had already debuted, but he got to play,
Oh yeah, he
and
did. At the
because
64th minute, Santiago Jimenez
there you go.
it goes in.
I don't know if that was his first match. So I'd seen him before, but I don't know if it was in cup games. But there he is, man. It's crazy, son. And I don't know if they both got to play at the same time, because Chaco stayed, and so I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of weird. I've seen it before, father and son. I think it was Rivaldo playing like in a third division Brazilian team, and one of his many kids. The dude must have like dozens. He
They
got to
should
play with him.
they should bring
He
him
must not be
back.
that good. Nobody has heard of him since, huh?
Yeah, they should bring Chaco back for one game. Yeah,
Chuck,
that was his first. That was his first game. He got a yellow card.
like like when Chivas brought the viejito, man. We were rolling Chaco with the wheelchair. Just touch the ball like 2 times. Tell the other teammate, just let him. Don't hack him hard. He's old. Just we're gonna stop him quick. Just let him touch it to the sun and that's it. Uh,
Well, how old is he compared to Cuauhtemoc? Because Cuauhtemoc, I don't know if Bop is still listening. Cuauhtemoc
I don't know,
was
man.
looking sort of raggedly, sort of old in his last America game. I remember, I don't know, that was like a few years ago he
God
played.
dang.
He had a little bit of a gut there.
Well, whose son? Not to get off topic, just really quick. We're talking about player sons, and this is Abreu. So Abreu has a son that's with the Mexican youth team. I think he's with the under 17, and also seleccionado and goal scorer, and he looks to be tall, just like the dad, because Abreu is a tall, lanky dude. So it's kind of interesting seeing some of these guys, the sons playing. I mean, we've
Yeah,
seen it before, but this is just more trippy because I didn't see like uh, who are these guys? God dang, now we gotta talk about America again. Well, you kind of seen it with Gio. His dad played, and then Sage. He was Saguinho, his little
yeah.
Sage. Uh, Even though there's nothing little about Sage.
Oh,
God dang. And
we had to go there.
Lord Davinos, the Davinos, there you go. Those are the two guys. They were the two brothers, and I think their dad had played, and we got to see Nettie, and Nettie's dad, of course, had played in San Luis, I think, and so Nettie ended up playing in Pachuca. So I mean, we're seeing this again now, but man, we're seeing now. I'm like goddamn, I feel old because now the difference from that is that I got to see I got to see their progenitors play. So, God
And
damn it.
But Chaco isn't that old. I'm looking up the ages. He's only 38.
Yeah.
Cuauhtemoc is 46. And it wasn't too long ago when he played
No, I
that one
know,
last game.
but it just shows how long you've been seeing some of these guys playing.
Yeah. And
I mean, I got to see Cuauhtemoc from when he debuted, and he was
yeah,
like, I don't know how old he was, man, 18, 19.
but you never know how Chaco looks right now. Remember, I think recently Wesley Snyder pick was floating out.
Oh,
He's 35 years old, younger than Chaco, and he looked
Snyder looks good though, man. He just has panza Coca-Colera, man. He's just been eating one too many torta de
he looks
tamal.
worse than Cuauhtemoc, man. Cuauhtemoc's out there being a governor, the
Nah,
governator.
dude. But all right, man. We're losing track here. We were at eighth. That's that's the last seat in the party bus. In ninth place is Atlas with they have 10 points, so they are tied. They're actually tied with TJ, but goal differential and Atlas. So yeah, that hurt them. That Tigres getting that draw that definitely hurt them. And then they had suffered before that a defeat on the road to the Tuzos, and I think yeah they're playing America. Well, they're hosting America today, so we'll see what happens right there. Could be well Atlas
It's gonna be
sink or
tough.
swim here, and this is the tough thing for Atlas that after that match, right? Then they travel to play Chivas at the Akron. So I mean, oh man, two defeats there could really put a bruising in the team's ego, And so, but we'll see, because this is the new management, Atlas. They're under new management, Grupo Orlegui, same same management group that has Santos. So yeah, something to look forward to. I do think it'll be interesting. I don't know if this match is going to be excite, just because if I'm putting myself in Piojo chair, and you have lesionados and tired players and all that, I park the bus, man. I'll just park the bus and take the point. Let Atlas do the work. So I think it could be just one of those sleeper games.
I could agree with that. America sort of has parked the bus recently. It's sort of
Yeah,
been their style of play to sort of counterattack, but yeah, typically you wouldn't do that against a lesser team like well, supposedly lesser team like Atlas, but yeah, that should be a good strategy for
we're
him.
we're, we're gonna go to the lavadoras right now. I don't know, because there's some stuff going on with Piojo's daughter, La Pioja.
Yeah, I saw that.
There was a picture floating about her, like in a bikini, but there was also like something about someone threatening her. She got like a death threat.
Yeah, I think on
Things like, hey, stop posting your bikini pics, or I'm gonna shoot you or something. I don't know.
no, there's somebody uh, DMing her about what is it about like the team, like the coach, like the like just making insults, and then they put "you've been warned," and then
Yeah, I know.
a picture of like some bullets and stuff, and that was sort
Oh
of
man.
messed up, like a threat. So yeah, that's some bad stuff going on. It
Oh
might be
man.
just
Well,
trolls, or but hopefully it's nothing.
hopefully, man. Hopefully, we don't want to see anyone get hurt. So
Yeah.
yeah, Chapla's in ninth. Tough schedule for them coming up, and then in 10th place we have La Máquina, Cruz Azul, who's been hitting highs and lows. But their last their last two games haven't been too good. They did beat the Galaxy in the League's Cup, but then they came home to draw Puebla, and this was a Puebla team that had fired the coach, and we'll get into it a little in Puebla. So I mean, you're hosting a team that has been playing pretty bad, and you can't beat them. It just not too good for the Blue Machine. And then they travel to TJ, and that's where they lose. And I'm gonna add this about Cubo, because Cubo played in Cruz Azul, so I guess it was a you know, revenge for that. It shouldn't have let me go.
Well, I don't think.
So
Well, yeah, I don't think it was
no, I'm just
but like
didn't think Cubo cared.
For Kubel, well, I don't think he was thinking about that. I think he was he was in
Okay,
such a drought. He was like disappearing from the whole scene,
yeah,
and he finally scored one, and so he was just like
yeah,
trying to elevate
but
his name again.
sucks to lose, uh, you know, to a goal from a guy that's been sucking and that you let go. You cut him off. You couldn't even and then he's beating you.
Yeah.
So they have Chivas. They're hosting Chivas, and this game could be pretty good. Chivas has been going all out, even though they've been losing, but their games have been entertaining. So this could also be this I would put in my list of games to watch. This would be my third one. Uh, you know, Cruz Azul Chivas, and I would say Cruz Azul being at home are favorites. I'm gonna give them the etiqueta de favoritos.
Yeah, this is like the game that I thought, I'm sort of not, could be a contender for game of the week. This is something I'm interested in to see if Cruz Azul can sort of bounce back from their recent losses. And then Chivas, who's
Yeah,
also struggling. So it's sort of two teams who need to bounce upward a little bit with some good results.
Well, yeah, and Boy is catching heat already. The Chiva faithful already, the Chi hermanos already turning on him. Uh, they they were on him for a little bit. they they were gaining some trust, but after the, you know, teams had like not so good games, and so there was talk of the plan B and what coach might come in, and there's just not that many prospects. I mean, who do you have? You have like Turco Mohamed, but I don't know if he would be ideal for Chivas, you know.
Yeah,
So that's that's on the line. Uh, I don't know about Caixinha. I know Pelaez, the GM, does not like Caixinha. Like they don't seem to get along. So, but Caixinha is a smart coach. He knows what he's doing. So a ver qué.
yeah. See how they bounce
Let's
back.
see what happens. But yeah, this team and Cruz Azul, I would say they do need to win. Both teams I would say are pressured here for the win. I do think, but I would say Cruz Azul being at home, just a bit more weight on them, and and then you add that the whole they haven't won the league title in it's almost 20 years now. So man, finally in 11th place, Chiquis, we have your Pumas. Same with 9 points. So I mean, like you're just 1 point from from eighth place, TJ. I'm saying if you want to get in that party bus, Pumas can't afford to keep keep letting points slip by. So yeah, the last two games, both 2-0 defeats. So you know that's a -4 goal differential right there, Chiquis. Not
Yeah,
looking
not
so
good.
hot. And you're hosting Toluca, who's Toluca's kind of going on the rise. You're kind of meeting in the middle, man. They're going up, you guys are going down. Uh,
Yeah, this.
Bigoton versus Michel. What?
Yeah, it's not looking good. And up ahead, they've got some tough games as well. So it might be doom and gloom in the next few weeks for Pumas.
Well, despite allowing 4 goals in the last two games, and I was thinking you were gonna be in the minus for the goal differential, but Pumas is actually zero. They've scored six and they have allowed six. So I mean that's a positive because we're about to hit teams that are in the minus mark, and Atlas, oddly enough, they are -2. But there's some teams that are like, oh man, we're gonna see right now which teams. So Toluca, just to highlight how bad they had been at the start of the tournament, they're at -5. -5 goal differential. They scored 4 goals and allowed 9. So
Yeah, Pumas. I think Pumas. I forget the stat. Is like one of the top defenses. They've
yeah,
placed Tigres and who else? The Tigres only scored 1 goal against them. They lost 1-0. Um, they've 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 only they've won 2-0 a few times at the beginning of the season. Actually, 3 times. So they shut out a few teams a lot of times. So yeah, their goals against are not too much.
not too much.
But
Well, I could see the Diablos stealing a point from Seu then, just cause um, the saying, win at home and draw away, and if the Diablos can take the point, I do think El Bigoton La Volpe would gladly sign for that deal.
it's gonna be
But
tough though.
and I think
And on a
and I would
Sunday during the day though, every
yeah,
time.
but Toluca's also a tough venue, and they also play during the day and at
Yeah,
a
but
higher altitude, Chiquis.
yeah, it's the it's the it's the Olímpico Universitario though. And every
Oh
time
man,
it happens a lot. It seems to happen a lot where
yeah,
I go on the chat and I see John post. Pumas on a Sunday during the afternoon, man. It
Yeah,
seems to happen quite often, but so
it
I
is
have some
for most
confidence.
teams, but Toluca is similar, man. You have some of these teams that are used to that type of condition, and I'll say Toluca is one of them.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, they
so
definitely
yeah,
are.
yeah, it's sort of
Anything.
like Mex. It's sort of like Mex when they would go to play like Copa Americas, and you would see all the South American teams complaining about playing in the altitude of Peru
Yeah,
or in Ecuador, and then Mex would be there like hold my beer, and you
yeah.
know it wouldn't affect the Mex team, well the old Mex team that had a lot majority Mexico-based players. Who knows these new guys?
We need to
They all
put a
play at
nail.
sea level
We
in
need to put
Europe.
a nail in the
Uh,
La Volpe coffin, though. That's
need to-
because we'll get to Toluca in a minute. I'll explain why.
okay, all right. Well, we're almost there. Yeah, and right below Pumas is the Tuzos of Pachuca. They have 8 points. So even we could see how like the fight for eighth, it's not that much, you know. But I would say right now Tijuana is at 6 games, and so which Pumas is at 7, and also is Pachuca. So Pachuca, ouch. See, look, they play San Luis. They play one of the weakest teams. They could bunny hop their way into that eighth place. They could very well uh, climb
There,
up the ladder.
yeah,
But just right quick, their last two results, they beat they this past Saturday they beat Atlas 3-1, and then they took the draw from the Aztec Stadium. So now they got San Luis at home. It's looking like a nice 3 points for them, Chiquis. And we could see Pachuca, yeah,
they're
probably get
really
into.
they're really sporadic though, man. Like if you look at
They are.
the way they've played, even home and away, or even at home, like you would think they would have some type of advantage. They lost to Morelia at home. They almost gave
But
uh, Veracruz their first win. They tied Veracruz 3-3 in Pirata Fuentes.
well,
So
no, yeah, you're right.
it's
But
sort
look,
of
look,
some
but
weird results from 'em.
but we're seeing progression because look, match week, match week 3, they lose at home to Monarcas, and then match week 4, they lose to Querétaro, right?
Yeah,
But then they sort of bounce back. Match week 5, big 4-0 win over Puebla. Match week 6, another win against Atlas. I mean, yeah, they got accessible rivals, but they're getting the wins. And then they took the draw from America, and I think San Luis at home, it should be pan comido. That should be the easy bake oven right there. Uh, unless you think San Luis has what it takes.
uh, nah, not really. I do
I,
think
I, I do.
the America tie might be sort of. I didn't see the whole game, but Bop was saying that Roger Martinez missed like 5 goals that he could have won, or
Could have won it for them.
was that the still won by 3? That's a different game he was talking about. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what game he was talking about. He says Roger misses 5 goals and we still win by 3. What game is
Oh
that?
well, Pachuca. I think. Yeah, I don't see them as candidates for Liguilla. So I think that even though they sort of been on a rise, I don't see them making it.
Yeah,
I don't see them making the big dance. Uh, so and then below them, same amount of points, San Luis. So this is the so-called, you know, 6 point game. Partido de 6 puntos. They pretty much draw it. And San Luis has -3 goals. And of course, San Luis, the newcomers, they're the they're the newcomers right now, and they're they tied they tied last on Tuesday. They tied 1-1 against Morelia, And then on Friday, last Friday, they beat Veracruz. And that was the one sad defeat for Veracruz where, you know, they missed a penalty and all that. So that, yeah, they could have broken their streak. And instead they lose to the newbies.
Yeah.
This was the bum fights, Chiquis. It was,
Yep.
it was for the last piece of crumb on the floor.
I saw one
They're fighting
recently, actually, in downtown Austin the other day.
like an actual bum fight
Yeah.
where you throwing quarters at them.
I was going to buy some masa for tamales, or for yeah. And one guy was throwing blows at the other guy, and he just ran away. So yeah, San Luis
Oh
was like
man, I
throwing
wouldn't
some
want none of that.
blows in the underneath the bridge and stuff. That's got the 2-1 win.
Yeah, ouch. So, but San Luis, man, uh, and then this is kind of embarrassing because in my goats, they're below San Luis. They're in 14th place. They have 7 points. Uh, the only thing is, the one good thing is Chivas, at least they're scoring goals this season, but they're also allowing goals. So they scored 10 and they have allowed 10.
10 as well. Yeah.
And so Chivas urgently needs a win. They're coming off of two defeats, like we said earlier, and a third defeat. And we could see Boy packing his maletas. And I know most Chi hermanos don't like him, but if you're Chivas, you just can't keep firing coaches. That's the guy they chose. You just have to wait it out, because it just becomes harder and harder to show that you're serious and then to bring in a good coach, a top coach. I don't see who's gonna really want to. And if like any other coach comes in, they're gonna demand like a lot of money to protect themselves, so if they do get sacked, and we've seen it already, like with Chepo, when he got sacked, the club had to pay him 3 million, and so like if they want a turco, that's what they're looking at. You know, that if it doesn't work out, they're gonna have to pay him, a large sum of money. And Chivas
Maybe
is
Boy
they
got that
can't
arrangement
afford that.
also.
What happened? Nah,
Maybe
I don't think
you
so,
don't think
man.
he got that?
Boy was nah. Boy saw an opportunity. Nobody wanted to get near that dumpster fire that was Chivas, and he's like, hey, I got this.
All right.
He wasn't even. He had like no real options. It's not like he was being, he wasn't spicy soccer man.
Well, I'm sure options
Yeah, no,
would have
no.
came up. I mean, I'm sure like you look at the what do you call it? Puebla, Chelis being gone.
Well,
So
I mean,
I'm sure other
it's
people
it's
would.
Chivas most likely to get from the house. So they have like Michele Año, who's working with the youth. And I thought when Cardoxo got sacked, I thought that he was gonna go up, but I guess he was smart. He's like, I don't want to touch that. I'm not
Yeah.
touching that with a 10-foot pole. Uh, but I think right now the team has gotten better players, and I think they are with fighting chance. Which, yeah, they have 7 points, a win, and they're in contention once again. But yeah, they're it's not an easy match, going to, you know, playing Cruz Azul on the road, coming up with two defeats. Um, and then after that, they have the Clásico, followed by a Monarcas game. So, I mean, I think a draw could help them bounce back, because then both Monarcas and Atlas, I'll say, are winnable games for Chivas.
I think even a loss, like
That's
if
where
they
my
lose to Cruz Azul, I think the the pinpoint game is the Atlas, the Clásico, because if they beat Atlas, which is very possible, then that's gonna give Boy some time.
yeah,
But
it's gonna buy him some time.
if they lose to Atlas, if they lose to Cruz Azul or tie, and then they lose
Yeah,
to Atlas, then that's gonna be the heat is gonna be really
yeah,
on for that.
and yeah, and then for Chivas, they're missing some money because they haven't been able to get the TV rights for U.S. games. So they lost money. They lost money on television rights in Mexico. because they made a big mess about that. They tried to get they tried to get smart, and they thought they were gonna shop around. And the only thing that happened was that about five different networks have the Chiva games. They're in TV
Yeah.
Azteca, they're in TUDN, they're in Televisa. Televisa got them for free. They didn't even have to pay because they were gonna sue them. Like, hey, we had this like no compete clause, and you kind of violated. And so man, they sort of hurts, but they make Chivas get on their knees. You know, who's your daddy? It sucks, but that's what it was, man. I mean, imagine the big network. You didn't get no money. It has to be for free. So they did lose money on that. Just being on so many exclusive contract, they would have netted them a lot of money. So then I guess they thought, okay, well, we got the U.S. market, and they haven't. Dude, we're 7 games in to the season, and the Chiva games are on YouTube, which I'm loving. It's easy for me to watch the games. They're on YouTube, but it sucks for Chivas because it's less money. You have what, like 20K people maybe watching? It's just small numbers compared to like they were doing over a million, 1.5 million, like I believe. And so the big thing is, will Chivas get a TV contract? Because they could use some money. And so they're saying that Amaury's holding out because he wants 2 contracts, Chiquis, one in English, one in Spanish.
Uh,
So I think it's a bit of a, it's like when you fight with your girlfriend and you want to see who calls first, and that's kind of, I think that's where I see it. That's where I see it with Chivas, and because Televisa just launched their new network, TUDN.
yeah.
Uh, yes, TUDN, right?
Yep.
And yeah, they're hurting not having Chivas. That would help that get more ratings and
Yeah.
just not
Tremendously.
having them. So yeah, they're both hurting, man. So let's see who picks up the phone first. Who sends that first text? Uh, you know,
Yeah.
the type WYD.
Question mark.
I miss you or something. Missing you. Someone, someone's gonna give in. Someone's
Yeah.
gonna give in. But man, and hopefully Chivas could do something with that money. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's what we're at Chivas, and Chivas is at 14. 15, we have the Monarcas, and the Monarcas, yeah, they sacked their coach, who was I don't even know who their coach was, but they brought in the an
Guede.
Argentine guy. Yeah, they brought in Argentine, and he debuted with a win over Pumas, and then he took a draw from Atletico San Luis, and now he's going up against Veracruz, which they're playing at home. So I think for the Monarchs, that's a good game you would want to have. Um, they are, let me see, they are at 7 points, just like the Goats. But they have a -2 goal differential. This is like now like Chivas being at the bottom half of the table and close to the top. This is the one thing that kind of saves them, where they're like zero, because it gets pretty bad. From Monarcas down, it gets progressively worse. So, for example, Monarcas -2, and Toluca, like we mentioned, is -5.
Yeah.
So we'll just jump. Yeah, and I guess Monarcas. Yeah, there's no fans. Let's just jump to 16. I don't think anybody cares about them right now. Um, so Toluca's in 16th place and 5 points, man. Ouch, ouch. And well, they're gonna be playing Pumas. What you wanted to say something about
To,
putting a nail in Bigoton's coffin?
yeah. See, Bigoton has the name. He has name clout. He has Argentinian clout. But he's in 16th spot, surrounded by Morelia, which you already mentioned, fired their coach, and then 17th
Yeah,
spot, which is Puebla, who fired their coach. But Toluca
Get
is in the
fired. Yeah.
middle. In the middle there, I haven't heard anything about Bigoton getting fired. And it may be
No.
like you bring up a point about contracts and like if you're gonna fire me, you're gonna pay
Yeah.
me $3 million.
Yeah. Well,
Bigoton has
that is yeah.
Bigoton could have that, right? He could have that.
Very well. He is just one of the big names, and he's been selección and all that. So he's pretty smart with his contract. But this is something we talked about in one of the earlier pods with John,
Mhm.
and we touched on the subject how Toluca, like if you're looking for a club where they let you kind of like, like they give you more of a chance to bounce back. They are one of those teams. Even like with Cristante, they gave him enough
Very
time,
patient.
and yeah, and Toluca just brought in Sina as a like a general manager type of role. So who
Yeah. So
knows? Maybe because the thing with Bigoton, and that has hurt him a lot, is it's his attitude with players. And I guess in all this time he hasn't been able to improve on that. So he's lost locker rooms because he talks down to his players. Sort of hurt him a lot in Argentina, where the players could be more rebellious. And he was in Boca, and it just it became really bad for him. And I think also kind of similar in Vélez Sarsfield. But and yeah, and it sucks that he's I think if they bring in Sina and he's to help with the locker room, that's my guess.
yeah, Zinya's the type of guy that could calm things down
When
with.
and he's a club legend as well.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a fun game on Sunday to see if Pumas can defend their home and see what happens with Toluca.
Yes.
But yeah, they're at the
So
very bottom then. They're
yeah. Well,
they've
now we're
had
going to the last three. Puebla's in 17th. They got a -8 goal differential, and they fired. Well, who was their coach was Chelis. So yeah, they sacked him, and then I think it was Picas Becerril. I forgot they had like an interim coach, and the interim coach got the draw on Cruz Azul. And then for their home game, and now they had the coach, which is Reynoso,
mhm,
former Cruz Azul player. He was a defender, Peruvian, you know,
yeah.
Peruvian guy. And so Puebla did this thing where the players said, if we lose at home, we're gonna buy all the fans a beer. Guess all the fans that went to the stadium.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you can make that bet. Making it against Juarez is pretty safe bet. So they did. They won. They won that game. But now they're traveling to Querétaro to face the Gallos Blancos, and we'll see what happens there, man.
Yeah, I like how Puebla does a little bit of outreach. They had a video recently of one of the guys going to one of their
I
neighborhoods.
thought you meant outreach with the beer.
Not outreach with. Well, that's part of
They
it.
went to the cantinas. Hey, well,
Outreach.
if the team loses, you get free beer.
At least they weren't
They,
one of the teams that
it's
watered it down. I think it was
for the
Santos.
borrachos.
Santos watered down beer and
This
stuff.
is this is beginning to sound like Club de Cuervos. Remember when they had a match at 5 a.m.
I
and they
haven't.
were recruiting fans from like the old people home, from the hospice, and then
Uh,
like they said they were gonna have like Dead Mouse or someone like a DJ.
I
There's
haven't.
gonna be an actor. you
I
you
haven't
didn't
seen.
see Club
I
de
haven't seen
Cuervos?
that. I haven't watched that at all.
Though there's an episode
Yeah.
where they have like a TV contract, but they want to mess with them, so they schedule their game at 5 in the morning, and
Oh.
they don't. The owner doesn't want the stadium to look empty, so he goes with his assistant, and they're recruiting, and so they bring people from the hospice. They bring like they go to like this rave, and they tell them that they make like a fake flyer saying that like some international DJ was gonna be there, and they and then they just put him in one section, so where the camera was gonna be at, so it looked like it was kind of full Which it's like funny because there's a picture that just made the rounds of Veracruz where there's just like one fan sitting there.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, the stadium's pretty empty. He
Yeah.
wasn't by himself though, because if you see like the wider picture, it's still like there's like maybe five people bunched up in the corner. This guy just probably didn't have friends.
Yeah.
Sucks. Uh, so
Or it might have been
if
after the
we're
game when
really,
people were leaving and stuff, or already gone.
yeah, but I think Puebla, I don't. They just, I don't know. They don't convince me, Chiquis. They don't convince me.
They have
I
some good
think
players, but
Querétaro.
yeah, as a whole team, I don't think they do it.
I give the edge to Querétaro. Now we're down to 18, and we have who do we have here? We
Juarez.
have Juarez. So yeah, Juarez is playing, and Juarez is the team that they bought their way back in. Their logos blew up.
Yeah.
Their logos blew up in the skies, uh, and they lost to Querétaro on last Sunday, and then before that they lost to Cruz Azul, and their one grace was beating Toluca at home. So yeah, no, they're one of those teams that are they, like if you want to be conspiracy, you could say yeah, teams like Veracruz and Juarez are there to help Chivas not get relegated.
Oh yeah.
how do we save Chivas? And the owner keeps fucking up. Let's just put worse teams. Chivas
That'll do
keeps
it.
messing up. We're gonna have a 24 team league just to make sure. They'll bring all these
Yeah.
second division clubs with like no like Murciélagos or whoever, just just
Well,
just to keep Chivas up there. Um,
that's like England, like the Premier League. That relegation happens all the time there, but there's no like it's no big deal. It's just
no,
one of
no,
those.
but they're set at 18. LigaMX right now it's at like 19. So like imagine Chivas still like in the relegation zone.
Yeah.
They'll bring in like another two other like really bad clubs. Um, but so we have Juarez and damn, I lost my place, cheeky. Okay,
Veracruz is the
yeah,
last place.
they're no Juarez. They go up against Monterrey. So ouch,
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
not good, not good. Yeah, not good. And then after that they meet Leon. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty hurtful there. And then that last is Veracruz, the Tiburones. They have a minus 16 goal differential. It's just, man, I feel bad for the fans. Veracruz is this team has been dragged around a lot, uh, and it just kind of sucks that under that management, and there's talk that some of the players haven't been paid, and their coach just quit. So
I saw an old
they
video
they're
of Kudi saying that he was going to. It was when they fired one of their coaches. He said he was going to go on a vacation to Europe or someplace with the money that they saved from firing the coach or something. The
man,
guy's
they probably
crazy, man.
did do that. Yeah. So I mean, they're facing Monarcas. Oh man, who knows? Who knows? I think Monarcas is obviously they're gonna be favorites, but well, let's see what happens with Veracruz. Let's see. I know they brought someone. I forgot the dude's name. I don't know if it was Chima Ruiz. I forgot the name. It was like some former player. Uh, but I guess this game could go down because if they go at 34, they will match a bunch. There's some teams from Argentina, I think, that hit the 34 mark, the 34 game winless mark. They already have the mark. Veracruz already has the record, I should say, for LigaMX. And
Mhm.
let's see how high it keeps going. So that's pretty much it, Chiquis. We went through all 19,
Hey,
19 clubs.
I found since we're done, I found a chisme on Reddit
Oh,
that we sort of talked a little bit about on America and the Jeremy Menace situation.
yeah.
This guy says like there was thoughts of, well, he's not really intense during practices, but he says it might be something different. He said Menez posted a goodbye on Instagram to his ex-players and a farewell and good luck to all of them. But also in between those comments, Piojo Herrera's nephew, who was running his mouth about Jeremy, um, had a comment, posted a comment as a reply, and it was liked by Piojo's daughter. And then he says that Alex Ibarra's wife had cheated on him with Jeremy Menez. Uh, and it is known that Alex
Oh,
Ibarra has a close relationship with the owner and Piojo, and
oh,
that could have been the start of everything. So
oh,
Piojo, you know,
goddamn!
Piojo and Alex are or Ibarra are really close. His wife cheats on him with Jeremy.
You were you were really visiting the lavanderas. That's grade A chisme right there.
It's like, yeah, that's like. I was just browsing Reddit real quick and I saw that and I was like, whoa.
Sure, you got it, Fred. I need to go there. I keep forgetting to go. They have some good. They got some good forums. They got a LigaMX English one and a general soccer one. They post good stuff.
Yeah, so there's your cheese me.
It's a good chisme to close the pod with.
All right, man. So I guess we'll enjoy this weekend of soccer, and
Yeah.
then maybe have a podcast on Sunday, and then next week prepping up for I believe an Argentina friendly in San Antonio. Hopefully, I'll be able to head over there in a couple of weeks, and then I think down the line is the Mexico United States game.
Yes. We'll be touching on all that.
All right, man. Thanks, Joel, for coming on.
Always, always, Chiquis. Always a pleasure.
And thanks everyone for listening. Thanks to Bop who was on the chat for a while and some other viewers that were listening. We will have this episode 213 of the CantinaMX podcast put on all your podcast applications and social media. And thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys later.